So when you're facing a new physical challenge, what's actually the best way to handle it? Should you focus on fixing the problem completely, or is it better to find new ways to adapt and live with it? That's the big question we're going to get into right now.
Okay, let's really think about this for a second. Imagine you're dealing with some kind of physical limitation. Is the main goal to get rid of it entirely, to get everything back to exactly how it was before? Or is it to figure out smart ways to live a totally full and independent life even with that limitation? This isn't just some abstract idea. It's a huge strategic choice that really shapes the entire world of occupational therapy.
Here's a really easy way to picture it. Let's say you're driving, and bam, there's a giant boulder blocking the road. Your gut reaction is probably to get some heavy machinery and just get that thing out of the way. That's the fix-it mindset. But there's another option, right? You could pull out your phone, open up a map, and just find a new route to get where you're going. That's the adapt mindset. See? Two completely different ways of thinking, but both are trying to solve the same problem.
So, let's kick things off with that first strategy, clearing the boulder. This is the fix-it philosophy, and in occupational therapy, it's called the remedial approach.
The fancy term for this is the Biomechanical Frame of Reference, or BFR for short, and honestly, it does exactly what it sounds like. It zooms right in on the specific physical problem, that weak muscle, that stiff joint, the lack of stamina, whatever it is that's physically stopping you from doing something.
Now, this approach is really built on a few core beliefs. First, the problem is all about motion, your strength, how far you can move, your endurance. Second, and this is super important, it works under the assumption that the problem can be fixed, that the body can actually heal itself. And third, it's most effective when your body's main computer, the central nervous system, is working just fine. In other words, the problem isn't with the software running the show, it's with the physical machinery of the muscles and bones.
And the goals here are pretty straightforward. Number 1, get back the movement you lost so you can go about your day. Number 2, while you're healing, you've got to stop things from getting any worse, like preventing muscles from getting weaker. And number 3, you want to hang on to all the abilities you still have. This usually involves very specific exercises and retraining to get that original function back up and running.
Okay, but what if you can't move the boulder? What if it's just permanent? Well, that's when you find a new route. This is the adapt philosophy, and it brings us to our second big strategy, the compensatory approach.
This one is called the Rehabilitative Frame of Reference, or RFOR, and it starts from a completely different place. It says, hey, some problems might be permanent. So instead of fighting a battle you can't win, the focus shifts completely to the abilities you still have, and you use those strengths to live as independently as you possibly can.
And the toolbox for this adapt approach is just incredibly creative. I mean, we're not just talking about exercises anymore. We're talking about really changing how you interact with your environment. It could be modifying your home to be wheelchair accessible, using cool gadgets like a special knife that makes cooking easier, learning techniques to conserve your energy, or even using things like memory aids. It's all about working smarter, not just harder.
And this is the key moment when this whole philosophy really kicks in. It's not about giving up, it's a strategic move. It's a path you choose when both the therapist and the patient look at all the evidence and agree that, okay, this underlying issue probably isn't going to go away. You see this a lot with degenerative conditions or really permanent injuries.
So you've got fix it over here and adapt over there. They really seem like total opposites, don't they? One is trying to rewind the clock, and the other is blazing a new trail forward. But this is where the real art and science of therapy truly shine.
I mean, look at them side by side. The difference is pretty clear. Fix It operates on the belief that the impairment can be healed, and its goal is to restore what was lost. Adapt, on the other hand, accepts that the impairment is there to stay, so its goal is to maximize your independence with new tools and techniques. They almost look like they were designed for two different realities.
Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question. Which one actually works better for people? And you know what's wild? The research is pretty clear on this. When studies have actually compared the two approaches head-to-head, they found no significant difference. One is not better than the other. And that one little fact completely changes the game.
So, the big insight here isn't about choosing fix it or adapt. That's the wrong question to ask. The most powerful, most effective strategy, the real magic of modern therapy, is in blending the two together.
Let's make this real. A therapist might be working with someone who has limited use of one arm. So to get some quick wins and immediate independence, they'll teach them how to get dressed with one hand. That's the adapt approach. But in that very same session, they'll also give them exercises to make that weak arm stronger. That's the fix-it approach. See? They're happening at the exact same time, both working towards the same goal, just from different angles.
And all of this leads to a way more sophisticated way of thinking, a unified strategy that goes way beyond a simple either-or choice.
And here it is, the big takeaway. The most effective therapy isn't some rigid one-size-fits-all plan. It's more like a dynamic dance, a dance between fixing what can be fixed and compensating for what can't. It's all about skillfully weaving these two powerful ideas together and constantly tailoring that blend to fit one person's unique body, their goals, and their personal journey.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. This whole fix versus adapt mindset doesn't just apply to our bodies. Think about any challenge you face, at work, in your relationships, with personal goals. When is it time to really push hard and fix the root of the problem? And when is it actually smarter to adapt and find a new way to move forward? The real art, it seems, is in knowing how to dance between the two.